just want to start off with, how did you guys know that this was your next project? How did you guys both kind of get involved? I know the kind of the side story, but this for viewers who don't really know.
Sure. Well, the way we were asked to do this movie, it all starts with Bolt. We were both working on Bolt. Byron was the head of story. No.
Wait a minute.
What? I was the head of story. Okay, it's been a long day. I was the head of story. Byron was one of the directors, and we were working on that film. And at some point, John Lasseter came to us and said he asked me if I'd be interested in directing a short for the Blu-ray, for the DVD. And I said, yes, of course, I'd love to do that. But because I came from the story department, and I've been at Disney for about 15 years now, there were many departments I didn't understand how they worked. Byron knew those. He just had finished making a film, and so he came in and he was showing me the kind of the ropes of how these other departments worked. And I think John saw potential as far as a team between the two of us. And so when he asked us if we wanted to direct Tangled, yes, of course. It's an amazing opportunity. It's such an awesome film.
Yeah.
What has Mr. Lasseter brought to the Walt Disney Animation that in the last few years? Like, how has he reinvigorated everything here?
So John Lasseter is the best boss you could ever hope to work for. He's made some of the best animated films ever. And the great thing is that he's been in the trenches, he's made movies, and having a filmmaker as your boss is the best thing you could ever hope to ask for. And the thing is that he is a tough guy to work for because he asks you to over-deliver on every level. Like, his expectations about what these movies should be is way up here, and we're always trying to meet that expectation. But yeah, like when we knew that he was coming in to take over the studio, we thought our dreams had come true. And he's just been a great mentor to us. And the nice thing is that he runs alongside of you with these movies, and it's great to have someone to touch base with.
The songs in the film, I mean, it's just a throwback to my days of Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and the Little Mermaid. Can you explain kind of the purpose of songs in these kind of musicals? And is this one of the first CG musicals?
Yes, I mean, music being used in this way has never been done before in CG, and that's something we were really excited about, was to again bring something to the screen, bring something to audiences that they haven't seen before. As far as using music in these movies, it's really music, when it's used correctly, it's a storytelling tool. It's a way that you can get into a character's mind without them sort of, and especially for a movie like this, where it's Rapunzel, it's this girl locked away in a tower. She really doesn't have anyone to talk to. If she's just kind of blurting out her thoughts and her feelings, she might come off like a lunatic. So a song was an awesome way to kind of get into her head and figure out who she is. And there's no gratuitous song used in this film. I mean, every song is there for a reason. We didn't want to just have a song just for a song. It had to be there for a storytelling reason. And that's where Alan Menken came in, because Alan is all about storytelling. Alan approaches everything as if he's going to write a song, and it has to be there for a reason, just to further the story along. And Alan was fantastic to work with.
One big thing in Disney animation is the side characters.
Yes.
Throughout time, all the kids buy the plush toys and have such a fun time with all of them. And some talk, like Sebastian, and some don't.
Yep.
So what was the decision on these two great characters, Pascal and Maximus?
Maximus,
Mm-hmm.
yep.
Yeah. What was the decision on making sure they don't talk and how they added to the story?
Yeah, Nathan and I are huge fans of silent films. Silent film stars like Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin, and we said early on, well, wouldn't it be great if the animal characters in this movie were like that? They're great pantomime actors, but they never say a word. And they're some of the most popular characters in the movie. And Maximus is a horse like you've never seen before. Disney's done a lot of animated horses, and we wanted to make sure we weren't kind of drawing on the same wells. So we said, well, what's going to make this guy unique? And the first thing is that he's not best buddies with your hero. He's actually after Flynn Rider. He's the Tommy Lee Jones of horses. He's going to track him down, bring him to justice, and the fact that he actually has some dog-like characteristics,
yes.
I should say, yeah, and that was a great thing that kind of came in through our story artists and our animators, and as we went, we just said, that's great, and just kind of kept pushing that characterization. And then Pascal, you want to talk about Pascal?
Well, Pascal, again, we were always trying to flip what the audience thought was going to happen. You might think like, well, this is a girl in a Disney film. Well, she must have like a little bluebird for a friend, or she must have like a little squirrel or something like that. And we thought, well, let's do something different. And so we thought, well, at first it was like, what if there was something else, like a lizard or something, just something weird, like something that really made her like more of this down-to-earth girl. She's not this dainty girl. She's this strong character. And we thought, like a girl that kind of plays with a little lizard. Like we thought, well, that might be kind of fun.
It's
And
unique, quirky, right?
yeah, and a chameleon. We thought, well, that's cool. Like they could change color, and again, it's just something you just haven't seen before in one of these films.
Creating a strong female character. I mean, you guys both being males. How did you guys go about with screenwriters and working with Mandy?
Yeah, well, it's true. Well, because the original girl in the Grimm's fairy tale is very passive. She just sits there and she's just waiting and waiting for someone to rescue her. And it's very hard to make a contemporary movie about someone like that. And so a lot of the way we figured her out was we asked the women around the studio to come in and tell us. Well, for instance, we brought a bunch of women in from the studio and we said, well, tell us about your mother. And this became like a therapy session. They told us brutal things about their relationships with their mothers, and they would go through these things that their moms had said to them, like even that getting kind of chubby line that's in the movie that came from that meeting, and it's amazing like how unguarded a lot of that conversation was. But they were always like, oh no, I love my mother, and we thought that was very, very interesting. So a lot of the Mother Gothel Rapunzel relationship came from that meeting, and from true life.
Where do you see Disney animation going now? Like we got a nice throwback to kind of the early '90s films. What's next for you? Not what next projects for you, but like where's Disney animation going? How do you guys feel about where you guys are at right now?
We Byron and I, we've both been with Disney animation for about 15 years now, and it's always been an exciting place to work, and even more so now than ever. We look down at the slate of films, we look at the development and what's going on here, and it's amazing because there's a movie like Tangled that has just been made, but then the next handful of films that we've seen, that we have friends that are developing these films, everyone is completely different. Everything is I guess there's some really unexpected things that Disney's working on right now, and but the thing that's awesome about every single one of them is they're funny, they have a lot of heart, they have a lot of humor. I mean, it's these things that sort of you expect from Disney. They'll deliver on that, but at the same time in a package that you've never seen before. It's a really exciting time to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what advice do you have for animators right now? Should they be hand drawing? Should they be doing CGI? Should they be focusing on story? Like what kind of things should they be doing right now, like future animators?
Sure. Well, they always tell us that it all comes down to your whatever you're passionate about. Like if you're passionate about drawing and animation, certainly anyone who can draw that'll actually add to your animation, whether you're in 2D or 3D. Nathan and I both draw, and we come from different backgrounds. I'm from animation, Nathan's from story, but in each case, being able to sort of visualize what you're thinking about and what you're feeling is a huge asset here. And as you get into this business, you will get exposed to great writers and great layout artists and great painters and stuff. And we become better artists every film we make because we have this amazing crew around us of some of the best, most talented artists in the world and the most brilliant technicians. And so it's a great, I can't say enough about animation. It's this wonderful business where you get this amazing mix of live action and art all kind of mushed together, and it's terrific.
The last question, what were some of the advantages of doing this film with CGI as opposed to 2D?
Well, there are quite a few. I mean, whether or not, if you make a movie in 2D or if you make a movie in 3D, those are all storytelling tools. Again, it always comes back to story. We looked at the film we were making and we thought, CG is the way to go on this one for a number of reasons. For one, there's a sequence in this movie where there are 50,000 lanterns that are flying around you, and in order to actually pull this off, we had to do it in CG to make that many lanterns to kind of track these things, and it was a tremendous technical achievement. The hair was another thing that was a reason to make this movie in CG because it's never been done before. And I think it posed a challenge. Hair in CG films, go back and watch any CG movie made by any studio. Hair is usually very short, or it's in a ponytail. It's not free-flowing hair, that's going to move and change. You just don't see that because it's up until this point, it's been pretty much impossible to do. So we were up for that challenge as well. It really, at the end of the day, we have such an amazing film, and we have CG, I think, to thank for it.
Cool. Well, thanks, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Good talking to you.